we knew that ultimately one day we'd probably need to build our own app.
So we've created an app for 3 user groups, HCPs, business people and partners. But as part of that, it's a sort of a tiered access.
Yeah, so there's 3 different memberships that you can join up under. The first one is free, and then you've got the premium membership. The most important thing that the app does is it brings people together in a central community. So no matter whether you're a doctor, you're a nurse, a plastic surgeon, a dermatologist, whether you're in Australia, whether you're in South America or the United States, you can all come together in a single platform.
To celebrate the launch of IA Community, we will be flying 1 lucky winner from anywhere in the world to Sydney. Get you a ticket as well to the Aesthetics 26 conference, which in my opinion is probably the most user-friendly, best, high-end, advanced, whatever you want to call it, conference for injectors. Yeah, it's a professional space.
Yeah.
It's validated. You know who everyone is. No one can comment anonymously in IA Community.
Yeah, there's no lurkers.
Welcome to Inside Aesthetics, the world's leading podcast for cosmetic practitioners and business owners.
Our podcasts are aimed at medical professionals and should not be used to make medical, legal, or financial decisions. You should get an appropriately tailored piece of advice from a professional in your country.
To show your support and stay up to date with our latest episodes, click the follow button if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you're watching our episodes on YouTube, hit the subscribe button as well as the bell icon.
If you're interested in joining our online community, being a guest on the podcast, or would like to work with us, all of our contact details are in the show notes. And now, let's jump into today's episode. So, Jake, we can officially say that this podcast is proudly brought to you by the IA Community app.
Very exciting. We've been building to this for, I don't know now, it feels like forever.
18 months.
But yes, this podcast is all about our new app, IA Community. You guys probably have heard us reference it, hint to it. We did a post a couple of weeks ago announcing it. But yes, it's finally here. And if you're that excited, you can go straight to the show notes and download it for free on your phone.
So I guess what we're going to be talking about today is, what is it? Why did we do it?
Yeah.
And then I guess just sort of showcase some of the major features of the things that we love about it and what we think you're going to like about it as well. So
yeah, the genesis to this, I guess, probably the best place to start is that, you know, David and I have both been in this industry for what, combined 40 plus years, I would guess.
Holy shit. Yeah.
It's insane, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've both obviously come at this from very different perspectives, but we've done millions of podcasts. We mentor people. I train people. David does business stuff. And we have seen the frustrations and needs and wants and difficulties that every injector or business owner comes up against, as well as that the partners, the brands who are also working in our space, they've got their own challenges. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the background to all of this. But yeah, from your perspective, where did this come from? Why have we done this?
Yeah, well, as you said, we've done 360 something episodes now, and what was it, about 3.5, 4 years ago, we started getting questions from people and feedback and comments. I guess essentially saying people wanted more. They wanted to ask questions around certain discussions that we had, guests that we had on, and it made us realize, is there something that we can do to provide people with more than just the free podcast every week? So that led us to Patreon. And a lot of people that may be outside of North America don't know what Patreon is, but it was essentially an on-demand subscription service. So it was a browser-based piece of software. You could also download an app on your phone, and essentially it would allow us to put up extra content. So I do business related stuff, you do injectable hints and tips. And then we sort of just kind of by accident really said, oh, maybe we should just create a WhatsApp group for people to kind of discuss the stuff that we're putting up in Patreon. And then quickly we realized that actually what people wanted and what was most popular were the WhatsApp groups. People wanted to talk to each other because the industry is very siloed into doctors, nurses, different people around the world had different products, different experiences. And what people really wanted was a connection, a community, people to talk to, ask advice, share their fears, successes, failures. And so we kind of went along with Patreon for a few years, and it was okay. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad piece of software or a bad concept. It just wasn't exactly what we needed. We were kind of retrofitting community. You know, we had the Patreon app, so it was kind of this multi-ecosystem mess, and it wasn't really easy for us to explain or market. And, you know, we had like over 2,000 people that signed up, you know, in various forms of membership iterations. So some were free, some were actually paying subscribers as part of our group.
Yeah.
But we knew that ultimately one day we'd probably need to build our own app because, you know, this industry is kind of a bit nuanced and there wasn't really anything that was exactly what we wanted, but super expensive, long, painful process to get it done. So we kind of just put it on the back burner until 18 months ago.
Yeah, well, we actually tried. We were working with a web developer 2 or 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and wasn't necessarily going to be an app. It was going to live on our website. We wasted at least $10,000 just trying to create something, and it was just too early, too expensive, too difficult. And then we were, about 18 months ago, we were connected with an amazing developer in California, America, and we were just sort of looking at what they do, and we thought, actually, this might actually work. So it's been a long time coming. In the last 6 to 8 months, we've actually been building and adding content and creating the app. But the story goes way back.
Yeah, it does. And, as you said, like the industry has got so many different components to it. So obviously we've got the patients, which aren't part of this app, at least not anytime soon. Maybe we'll look at it in the future when we want more headaches. But at this stage, it's for industry. So for doctors, nurses, physician's assistants, dentists, some areas of the world you can inject if you're a pharmacist. So there are lots of different professionals that are involved.
Yeah.
Then there's the business people like me, the clinic owners, the people that maybe work in marketing, they're reps in companies. They're kind of all the other bits of glue that hold the industry together.
Yeah.
And then we've got the pharma companies, the energy-based device companies. They're so important because without them, we wouldn't have any products, we wouldn't have any devices. We've had a few personalities pop up over the years that are quite critical of them and don't believe anything they say, very critical of key opinion leaders. And I've had some of those thoughts as well. But at the end of the day, they're an integral part of our community, of our industry. And without them, as I said, we wouldn't have the products. And they're quite restricted in what they can say as well because, there's all the TJ regulations here in Australia, advertising, AHPRA guidelines. And so they've got a difficult job communicating what they're trying to educate people on as well. So we wanted to bring everyone together. And I guess one of the fundamental hurdles that we needed to overcome was in this regulatory space, how do we do it in a compliant way? How do we talk about these products and treatments without breaking the law?
Yeah. And I guess just to add for our American audience who think, what do you mean by that? Most countries, you can't talk about drugs, you can't show before and afters. There's many things that you can't do as an aesthetic professional or healthcare professional.
Or a company.
Or a company, exactly. So we've created an app for 3 user groups, HCPs, business people and partners. But as part of that, it's a sort of a tiered access.
Yeah.
So there's a free component. So anyone who signs up without paying, they get certain content. Not the chats, not the medical information, not the clinical stuff. But then if you pay as an HCP, then you get all the more clinical stuff. And as part of that barrier, that ring fencing, we verify every single healthcare professional who wants access to that stuff. So it's a lot of work for us, but it keeps the app professional. We think it's a little bit more dignified. Everyone knows who the users are. Mm-hmm. So everyone has a member profile, name, background, where you are, your phone number, et cetera, et cetera.
But you can't see the phone.
So just to make it clear, you can't see all this stuff, but we can verify that these people are real people signing up to the app.
Yeah.
And then we can work with partners. For example, our pharma partners are probably the most obvious example, where then we can give the verified HCPs a space to see the cool stuff and the good stuff, but also the partners can showcase what they do in a compliant manner without breaching any sort of laws or marketing issues.
Yeah. The member sort of transparency thing was big for us. So whether you download the app and use the free features, which we'll get into, or whether you become a subscriber, which gives you access to the live chats and all that kind of stuff, irrespective of that, if you're an HCP, you need to go through that process and the member profile. So as you said, there are certain sections that we don't let everyone see, like your phone number and date of birth, but essentially a photo to show who you are, where in the world you are, a little bit of a bio about you. So your background, years of experience, areas of expertise perhaps. And so what that starts to do is qualify who everyone is. What we found in our WhatsApp groups were there were some people that were very vocal, contributed a lot, but you never really knew who everyone was unless they volunteered that information, had a photo. Maybe you'd get a clue where they were in the world by their country code. But what we've done with this app is that you can see all that information. And so, for example, in our live chats, we'd have people that would potentially ask a question around a product or a treatment or be asking for some advice from colleagues, but you didn't really know who potentially was asking that question. Are they a new injector? Are they someone that's super experienced? And likewise, if someone was giving you a piece of advice, you weren't really able to qualify, how experienced this person was. It'd be a bit rude for someone to give you advice and to respond with, how experienced are you? Yeah. You can see all this stuff and it's got links to your website, your social media. So it starts to really double down on that community feel. Everyone knows who everyone is. If you're not willing to be transparent about who you are, then this community is not right for you.
Yeah. We've decided that if you don't show your photo, or tick certain boxes like who you are in terms of your profession, we can't verify you as an HCP. That's kind of a given, really. Yeah. So the idea is that you tell us who you are, you get into the spaces, obviously if you're on our paid subscription, and then people will be much more comfortable to share with you and talk to you because they know who you are. It's just obvious.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it start to feel like an extended family rather than just a bunch of random people sitting in a chat room.
Yeah, and look, our WhatsApp was wonderful. Yeah. Like the amount of things that people shared, personal stuff, work stuff, business stuff, like it was amazing. But this is going to take it to a much better level, I think.
Yeah. So before we get into the features of the app, we've got a bit of a competition to announce to celebrate the launch of this long-awaited app and this never-ending journey that it feels like we've been on. And we like a competition here, Jake.
We love our competition. So to celebrate the launch of IA Community, we will be flying one lucky winner from anywhere in the world to here in Australia, to Sydney. Get you a ticket as well to the Aesthetics 26 conference, which in my opinion is probably the most user-friendly, best, high-end, advanced, whatever you want to call it, conference for injectors. Yeah. So obviously you probably want to be injected to come to this conference. As well as that, we're not just doing that. What else are we going to give away?
So we're also going to do a free one-on-one mentoring session with me whilst you're here. They also get to do a shadowing day with you, and they get to join us in studio for an Injector Diaries episode. So
assuming you're an injector. Now, if you're not
and assuming you want to do it,
then obviously we'll make it work for you. We'll do a podcast. So flights, ticket to A26, business mentoring session with David, hanging out with me if you want. You don't have to in my clinic to shadow me for the day. And then also
join us in studio
for a podcast. Yeah, there's too much to remember here.
Yeah. And so that's the major prize. We're also giving away 21 runner-up prizes, which is a 12-month free subscription to the app. It's valued at $400 Australian. And we're giving 20 of those away. And hopefully you stay beyond that because you're going to love it so much. And so to enter the competition, follow our post on Instagram tonight, which will give you all the instructions. And how are we going to be picking the winners, Jake, again?
Well, I've got a very rigid system. So once, we're going to give you guys plenty of time to apply for this competition. But basically, we'll have a spreadsheet of all of you who've signed up to the app. And yes, that includes the people who've already signed up as our founder members. Yep. You're included as well. And then we'll use a random number generator. So on an Excel sheet, there'll be numbers. Yep. And the random number generator will tell us what number won. And then we'll choose our 20 runner-up winners as well.
Yeah, so the 21 random generator number process we're going to go through.
Yeah, so we look forward to seeing you guys apply and hopefully signing up to the app. Now, let's, I guess, talk a bit about what the app actually does and the why. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about this app, but why should people join? I mean, we touched on some of the frustrations that we have experienced in the last 40 plus years of our combined experience. But from a business perspective, what common things do you think people see that the app is going to solve for them? How's it going to help them?
Yeah. Well, I think first and foremost, it's connection. So it's finding like-minded people from around the world who you can draw inspiration from. You can ask questions, you can DM them, you can see posts that they've made. So I think the most important thing that the app does is it brings people together in a central community. So no matter whether you're a doctor, you're a nurse, a plastic surgeon, a dermatologist, whether you're in Australia, whether you're in South America or the United States, you can all come together in a single platform and communicate, talk to each other, share ideas. And I think that, some of the things that this industry has been quite guilty of is being fragmented and, there's some turf wars going on around the world. And I think that part of this is that people just don't know each other. Yeah. It's very easy to argue with people online that you don't know, but as soon as you bring people together in a community, I think it breaks down a lot of those barriers. Yeah. And what we found is that, the high tide raises all the ships. The more that people are aligned, the more that people know each other and communicate and have a relationship, the better our industry is, the more it's going to move forward in the right direction, the less negativity comes our way. And by sharing this knowledge, almost like through a central hive mind almost, it's going to make everyone better. So whether it's business stuff, which, I'm still seeing people struggling with the basics, and, we're going to continue to do our posts. I'm doing business posts, you're doing injectable hints and tips, but also what we want to do is get contributions from the community. So again, we'll be getting into some of the features, but there's plenty of opportunities for people to actually showcase what they're doing, give their advice. So whether it's business advice, business case studies, screw ups, successes, injectable screw ups, all that kind of stuff, it just allows us to all contribute. I think part of the challenge that we had was that we created a situation where all of the content creation came from us. And whilst we'd love to do it, A, we don't have the time, and B, we certainly don't have all the answers. I've only got my lifetime's worth of experience. You've only got yours. But if we've got thousands and thousands of people on here who are all willing to share and contribute, like, guess how much smarter we're all going to be?
Yeah, it's definitely worth saying. If you're going to download the app, we won't be spoon feeding you.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we'll do content and you'll definitely get something from there. By the way, the podcast is also going to live there.
Yeah.
We'll come on to that. But yes, we want people to share, talk, be vulnerable. You know, you're all going to be in a ring fence space where it's only HCPs if that's the space that you're in. I will do that as well. I will share my fuck ups. I'm sure you're going to share your fuck ups. And that's the only way we're going to learn. We don't need to be perfect. You don't need to do your best cases. But let's just talk and learn as a group. And I guess, you know, from my perspective, and I have definitely spoken about this on the podcast many times, is that our current platforms where we're currently doing this kind of stuff are Instagram, TikTok, maybe LinkedIn, a few other different platforms. They are wonderful for mass sharing to billions of people. That they are good. So you still want to be marketing there because that's where your patients are. But if you want to learn as a professional, as an injector cohort about aspiration or anatomy or filler longevity, I personally think, and this is a big reason why I wanted to build our app, is that it's the wrong place to be arguing and shouting at each other in the comments about the pros and cons of aspiration, for example.
In front of the general public.
It might be funny, it might be hilarious seeing these kind of awkward situations on mass social media, but it makes our industry look really stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to dunk on someone for like 20 seconds, but then you're potentially, you know, looking really unprofessional to the general public. The regulators are watching, the media are watching, and the media are the ones that are sort of generating a lot of negative stuff around our industry. So taking all that stuff away from people's eyes that shouldn't be seeing it starts to create a safe space, I think.
Yeah, it's a professional space. It's validated. You know who everyone is. No one can comment anonymously in IA community.
Yeah, there's no lurkers.
And so those keyboard warriors who feel high and mighty trolling, that goes away because they can't do that anymore. I mean, they could, but I think that what we've created will create a more professional area. Now, it's not that you can't argue or debate with someone. That should be celebrated, but it'll be done in a professional way where we respect each other. And you hear each other's opinions. You don't have to agree, but it's a space where you should be doing it. That's kind of my big reason for creating this as well.
Okay. So before we dive into specific features, maybe let's just sort of outline the architecture of the membership. So there's 3 different memberships that you can join up under. The first one is free, and then you've got the premium membership. And the premium membership allows you to access, as I said, the interactive part of the app. So the live chat features and, you know, some of the things like the clinical library and so on. So there's no pressure for you to join and pay. You've got either option. Did you want to expand on that a little bit? Yeah,
I mean, look, in the free area, our podcast will live. That's kind of a big thing for us, that we've wanted to make the podcast a little bit more accessible for people who've never listened to a podcast. So you don't need a Spotify, account or subscription. Or you don't have an Apple phone. You don't need Apple Podcasts. Everything will live on the app. But of course, if you prefer those apps, you can still listen there.
So nothing will, if you want to keep listening to it how you're already listening to it, nothing will change, but you've got the added convenience of listening to it within the app, so sort of staying within the one ecosystem.
And a good part of having the podcast library on the app is now you can search for things a bit easier. So some of you guys really enjoy the injector diaries, the talks, the masterclasses. Instead of hunting through Apple Podcasts hoping to find the right one, now you can use our search function and just find this stuff a little bit easier. Or if you know that 4 years ago we did a podcast with Jean Carruthers, well, instead of having to hunt through hundreds of podcasts, just type in Jean Carruthers and you'll find her podcast. And then the other cool thing that we're introducing, new feature for IA Podcast, is our exclusive episodes. Now, we previously played around with this a year or 2 ago with our Patreon, but to make it really simple, these will be free. So they're in the free area of the app. But these are episodes you may have never listened to. We did a lot of part 2s to some of our episodes, and previously they were paid for, but now they're free, but they're called exclusive episodes. They won't live on Apple, they won't live on Spotify or YouTube, they'll only be available on our app.
And in the future, we don't have this yet, but we will potentially be doing HCP only podcasts. So that's something in the pipeline as well that we can do.
So maybe a smaller audience for us, but it means that we can work with partners a lot easier, talk about product and really showcase the best of how to use these products.
Exactly.
So that's our podcast in the free area. Then of course, we've also got other free stuff. So there's there's also an aesthetic newsfeed in our free area. So here we're going to be talking about news, stories, events, product launches, devices, things that can be shared with our non-HCP members as well as our HCPs. And also our partners might utilize that space as well to announce some of their news that can be shared with the wider world.
Yeah. So as you said, just a central place to come for everything that you want to know about aesthetics, regenerative health, business-related topics, anything like that. It's all going to be in one central space.
Yeah, and just an invitation. If you're an aesthetic news writer, journalist, publication, anyone like that, and you think that you would like your news to live in this space, reach out, let us know. We're very happy to publish your news there and showcase what you do with a link back to your publication or wherever you do your news.
Yep. One of the other cool features is the conference diary. As you guys know, there are lots of conferences happening all over the world all the time. You know, there are bigger ones, there are smaller ones, but I guess we've got, the top tier or the top 2 tiers of events that are happening. And this conference diary essentially allows you to see what's happening where at any time around the world. So you can search by the usual suspects. So you can click on AMWC and see where all the events are. IMCAS, for example, you can search by region or country, and you can click on any of these events. You can find out a little bit about it, where it is in the world. You can see a map. You can RSVP to say that you're going. Now, that doesn't mean that you've bought a ticket. It just means that our community knows that you're going.
Yes.
There's also a feature there that will allow you to add it to your calendar on your computer or your phone. And as I said, it signals to our community that you're going, and that will then move you into a secret chat group where everyone else that's going to the event will also be. And the reason we've done this is because, you and I have been to probably more conferences than we care to even remember. And often you'll turn up and you don't know anyone. You're in a sea of, like IMCAS this year had like 20,000 people or 21,000 people. And it can become overwhelming. You don't have any friends. You don't know where all the social events are happening. And so what this allows you to do is connect with all these people from around the world that might be going and meet up.
Yeah, it's like an icebreaker.
Yeah.
Just if you know that someone in our community on the app is also going, reach out to that person in the chat that you've been thrown into and say, hey, I'm from Australia. I see that you're going to IMCAS Bangkok.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a really nice way of enjoying these trips that are quite arduous. You're feeling tired. You don't know anyone and you can feel a bit miserable sometimes.
And I mean, really, at the end of the day, these conferences are fantastic. And every so often, I'm sure you sit down and watch a lecture and learn something really interesting and new. But if we're going to be really honest with each other, which we always try to be, is that there's probably that information floating around somewhere on the internet and you can probably watch it for free, right? So people are going for the experience and for the networking.
Yeah. 100%.
And so I think that this conference diary allows you to really double down on that networking, meeting new friends, new colleagues, new experiences. And that's what it's all about. It's a human connection. We've got this digital world now.
Yeah.
And so we're using the digital world to help people connect in person.
Yeah. The other thing we forgot to mention about podcasts is now we're going to showcase who's coming on the podcast.
Ah, yes.
And you guys can submit your questions in advance. So if there's a guest that you particularly resonate with, or you've got a particular burning question that you hoped that we would have asked in that podcast, well, now you can get your questions in. Now, obviously, we always ask the basic questions, the normal questions. So we do ask you to make your question a little bit interesting, maybe a bit outside the box, maybe even controversial or personal.
Yeah.
And if we use your question in our podcast, we'll obviously give you a shout out. So it's a nice way of involving you guys.
Yeah.
And as well as that, obviously the podcasts are being published in our library. Now, if you like a podcast or you got a question about that podcast or you don't agree with something that we brought up or the guest did, you can obviously comment under each podcast and we'll get a bit of a conversation going about, well, what did you think about that?
Yep.
So it's just another way of engaging you guys to sort of deepen your learning, improve the feedback that you give to us, and we'll do better podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about the next cool feature. This is probably my personal favorite, which is called Iagram. You came up with this name. It's your version of Instagram for our community only.
But is this free or not?
It is free, but you have to be an HCP.
Correct.
So you're testing me. You're testing me now. So it's a free feature, but you have to be a verified HCP. And essentially, Iagram, the clue's in the name, it's a platform that allows you to showcase your before and after. It could be still pictures, it could be videos, it could be a case study, it could be a product review, it could be a disaster that went really wrong. So you can basically upload in whatever format that you'd like. You can write a detailed description about what it was. You can write a voice note and attach it to it, whatever you like. People can comment. They can share within the app. They can like it. You can start a whole other form of discussion that's going on. People can ask questions because, again, in most parts of the world, other than I think America and New Zealand, putting stuff up on Instagram now is like
tricky.
It's
or
crazy.
impossible.
You could be doing something that's in breaking the law against what the regulators want you to do. Again, we're also sort of showcasing our stuff on social media where it's got the general public. So people only tend to put up their best stuff. You're not going to put a disaster up on social media where you're going to freak all your patients out.
Yeah.
But this might be, hey, I had something that really went wrong in my clinical practice, or I made a really bad, decision on a product or whatever. This is a place where you can actually give a heads up to your colleagues and say, I had this bad experience. You should know about this, or this went wrong. Does anyone have any comments on what I could be doing better? Or just show off what you've done really well. If you're really proud of a result, something that you think people would love or people can learn from. So it's for sharing, for learning. And I guess the other thing is getting discovered. I mean, hopefully there's going to be thousands of people sharing all different types of work. And who knows what opportunity might come from that. You might get, tapped on the shoulder to be an educator, a KOL, give a keynote speech, talk at a conference. There's so many different ways that this could play out.
Yeah. So the idea of IAgrams, my harebrained sort of thing was, yes, it's Instagram for injectors, but minus patients.
Yes.
So you're not marketing yourself to sell stuff or get bums on seats. You're showcasing yourself to your peers to either learn or be taught and get some advice. But like David said, it's also potentially lead to other things.
Yeah. Or as you said, you might get work sent your way. Like if you've got a particular skill set in a niche area, say like nose filler, for example, and you're showcasing great work, you might find other colleagues within the app go, hey, this person's really good at nose filler. I'm going to send my patients here.
Yeah.
Or something that's come up often in our WhatsApp chats were people that had patients moving. They might be going to a different part of the country, or they might be moving countries altogether. You can find a colleague who does good work because you've seen it, that you can refer them to.
Yeah, correct. And you can qualify by speaking to that person before you send them to say, hey, can I send my patient to you? And if so, how do I make that easy? And obviously, you can sort of warn them that they're going to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of leads into how members find each other. So obviously you can search on our member directory. And then if you log in on a desktop, you can actually see a world map of every single member. It's quite cool. Took us a bit of time to get that going. But and so if you're looking for someone in Jersey, America, you just go to the map and find Jersey, see who's there, and then reach out to that person.
Yeah, so it's cool that you kind of click on it. You can see like a global map, and you can see like all different parts of the world, and it might have 20 members in this city or that city, and you can keep getting closer and closer, and you can just see all the people that are within that local area. Click on their profile, open it up, see who they are.
Yeah.
You said someone might get married from here at some point, Jake. I don't know.
Hook up, marry, I don't know. We call it IA Tinder. Jokes aside.
It might end up being a premium service.
We don't know what things are going to come of this app, but I know for sure that it's going to help people connect there. And if it leads to romance, then who are we to begrudge that?
Okay, so the other free feature is access to our partner spaces.
Yes.
So the partner spaces, again, are split up into two categories because of the regulations. So we've got partners that are for HCPs only. So this will probably be like pharmaceutical companies. Anyone that's dealing with a scheduled medication will fall in the HCP partner space. Then we've got the non-HCP partner space, which is for all the companies that aren't dealing with scheduled medications. So it could be energy-based devices, marketing companies, whatever it is, that's where you're going to find all of the partners. So if you're an verified HCP, you'll be able to see everything. If you're not, you'll only get access to the non-HCP partner space. But this is essentially dedicated spaces for all of these partners to essentially have like almost like a mini web page within our app that they can put up whatever they want. They can put up events, training opportunities, new products, devices. They might do promotions, especially because it's within an HCP only area. They can essentially do whatever they want. And this is an ability for you as a user or a member to hop in and see what different companies are doing, what they're offering. You can engage with them. You can sort of comment on posts that they've put up. They're not allowed to sort of start spamming people, contacting them uninvited. It's like the digital version of a conference. If someone comes up to a stand and engages with someone there, then everyone's free to talk to each other, but they can't just sort of randomly go and start talking to people like chasing someone around a conference hall. It's not gonna work.
So I guess if you're a company listening thinking, hey, I want to get involved, you'll live in one of two directories. Either you can only promote to HCPs or you're promoting to everyone. You'll live in one of those directories. You get your own little space and you can market and do what the hell you like.
Yeah.
And so our job is to build an audience to get eyes on your company so your marketing gets to more people.
Yeah. And I guess, just to qualify that a little bit further, we know how much it costs to set up a stand at a conference. I mean, I think conferences are great, as I said, because of especially that human connection side of things, but they can get quite costly.
Yeah.
By the time you pay for your stand, you pay for your staff to be there, the staff are away from their regular job during the day, so they're not servicing clients. They're here at this event. It's tiring. There's a lot of organising, marketing paraphernalia. Stand at a conference can cost anywhere from 50 to 300,000 or more, depending on the size and grandeur of the stand.
Yeah.
And you don't really get a measurable ROI at the end of that. You don't really know how many people walked past your stand. It can be difficult to track who you spoke to. We've got full analytics built into this app as well. So we can provide data on not specific names, but we can see how many people are like visiting different parts of the app. So it might just be something that becomes an adjunct to this company's marketing initiatives, not a replacement for conferences, but something that helps bolster and reinforce your messaging.
Yeah, to use your analogy, I see this as a 24/7 stand.
Yeah.
Rather than a 3-day stand.
Yeah.
And for the expense, I think personally this will be a way better
Yeah.
option, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how partners use this and how they best adapt to a new marketing channel.
Yeah. And then I guess, the other free feature, and we're going to be announcing some pretty exciting guests, is the live events. We've got the ability to essentially showcase a live discussion. It could be like a podcast or a webinar, a Q&A. We can have up to 2,000 people on a live any given time. We can record that and we can republish it later.
Yeah.
But this will allow us to work with partners. We can do our own initiatives. There might be certain members that we work with who have something interesting to share. We can do it within our own app.
Yeah, so it feels like a Zoom, but from our perspective, it's a way better platform.
Yeah.
Like you said, we can scale up to 2,000 people to join us, depending obviously what the topic is. It might be HCP only, it might not be HCP only. I've got some cool ideas of how we would engage everyone. But of course, if we talk about products, injectables, technique, that would be HCP only.
Yeah, so we've got 3 exciting guests that we've got lined up for this. But yeah, I'm really excited about this feature because it opens up a whole lot of new opportunities for us. And
yeah, so wait for those announcements of who they are, but they'll be coming very shortly.
If it wasn't already clear, everything that we just spoke about up until this point is completely free.
Yeah.
So whether you pay us $0, you get access to all of those features just by having them, downloading the app and having it on your phone or using it on your desktop.
Yeah. Now let's just touch on kind of that middle tier. We mentioned business owners, non-clinicians, and I will include people like dermal therapists, laser therapists, operations managers, anyone in admin in a clinic. That has traditionally, badly, been a kind of a forgotten segment of our industry.
Yeah.
It's often the injector, the derm, the plastic who are the face of the business, and they're doing all the dancing on TikTok, and it's all wonderful. But there are people behind the scenes that not only run the show, but probably still need a bit of help and connection as well. So what does our business tier provide for people?
So we've got obviously the live chats, essentially like WhatsApp. So you can go real time back and forth with questions, advice, observations, whatever you like. Then we've got like a forum called Business Education. And this is like the analogous to IAgram.
Yeah.
It's essentially an open forum for me, for you, anyone that's a member to post something business related. So it could be a piece of advice, it could be a question, a case study, just a thought for the day, a piece of inspiration. I've done a couple of posts really. Recently I did one on the adult ego. Something I've been struggling with is learning music again at 40 and talking about the fact that you can be really successful in other parts of your life, but then learning like a significant skill in your middle of your life or beyond can be quite difficult. Your ego is protecting you from failure, and I've struggled with this. And I guess I was just talking about the fact that there might be a lot of people out there in a similar headspace, trying to learn something new, learning business skills, being really qualified as a practitioner. Could be a derm, could be a plastic, you might be like a seasoned KOL, but like reading a P&L statement is scary for you because you've never done it before. So I did a piece of content on that, done a piece of content on, oh God, I don't know. Probably
stock control.
Yeah, stock control. But I want everyone to engage in this. We've got some really smart business people in our community. I've been learning from these people as well. So just like in IAgram, if you've got something to share, a case study, question, this is where you do it in the business section.
Yeah. And then obviously we've got 2 main chats for our business folk to start with. We will add probably a couple more, but one is social. So non-work.
Yeah.
If you just want some life advice, or you've found a life hack, or you just want to connect with people.
You've got a dad joke to share.
Dad joke, or you're traveling somewhere, you want a bit of advice on what it's like in Sydney and you want to reach out to local people. That's what that chat is for. Often get a lot of fun and banter going there. And then obviously there's a business chat for work stuff, be it financial, legal, marketing, whatever it be.
Yeah. So lots of different options there at your disposal. And we've got AI built into this as well. So this app has got a lot of artificial intelligence baked into it. And one of the cool features that we've put in here is chat summary. So we found that you'd wake up overnight and you'd open up your WhatsApp and there'd be 400 messages there and you've got to go, oh my God, I've got to scroll back through all of these to see what did I miss that was important. You simply click on give me a summary of the last 7 days or the last month, And within 5 seconds, it brings up a summary of all the major key points that were spoken about since you were last in that chat group.
Yeah, it's actually a really good point. We did that because we found that even with tools like WhatsApp or even our Patreon, it's a bit overwhelming. There's too much going on. You can only do so much. You're busy people, you got kids, work, whatever. So rather than feeling like you're glued to your phone and having to just be there constantly, which is not what anyone wants, we've tried to create some tools for you guys just to catch up, dip in. And of course, if you join the community, you can also see all of the previous chats. So unlike on WhatsApp where you're stuck and you don't see what happened previously, here we allow you to watch the previous chats as well.
And I guess maybe at this point to, highlight that you can choose how you want to be notified. So when you're setting up your profile, and you can do this anytime, even after you've set up your profile, you can choose whether you want to get in-app notifications, emails, what certain things you're going to be alerted about. So you can set up your ecosystem to suit your lifestyle. So your phone's not going to be pinging every 5 seconds, driving you crazy, or just the certain things that you want to be notified about.
Yeah, so our default is minimal emails. No one wants more emails. But if there's something that particularly resonates with you, like business education or whatever, you can get emails specifically for those bits of content, and you can check out the other stuff if it doesn't resonate with you.
Yeah. In terms of additional help, if you get stuck, there's an FAQ section as well. So whether you're free or paying, you get access to this. So if you've got questions around things you might be struggling with in the app, you can hop in there. Maybe one of our community members will help you, one of our admins, or even there's a few AI agents roaming around that might be able to help you as well.
Yeah, the app is, we think, very intuitive. We've obviously done beta testing and so on, but it's really easy to use. Then I guess our premium tier, like you alluded to, is our HCP plus business tier. So as well as getting all that business stuff that you just mentioned, you also get the healthcare professional content. Now, to start with, we're keeping it super simple, just 2 chats, analogous to the business one. So social, the banter, the non-worky stuff. And then obviously we've got a clinical chat. So injectable questions, rheology questions, anatomy complications, blah, blah, blah. All of that will live in that one chat for now. Now, obviously that's going to get busy pretty soon. So we'll start expanding our chats and niching down. So we'll divide complications into their own area because they're important and we want to highlight those things. We'll probably have a regenerative chat at some point. And the more users we have, we'll adapt the app to make it more user-friendly and find the stuff that you actually want. But for now, just keeping it simple.
Something that's coming in the future as well will be secret chats. These will be invitation only. So, we might end up with thousands of people within one chat group, and there'll be different levels of experience. And so we will eventually, as you said, start creating more sort of subcategories, but we can create secret chats. So we might do an international KOL chat only. And we'll hand select those people and invite them to that chat group, and no one else in the community is going to be able to see that those chats exist. So it just allows us to start creating sub-communities within the app as well, rather than feeling like you always have to ask a question or share something with thousands of other people watching.
So it was a good learning point from our WhatsApp experience and Patreon. It's good that you've got 300-400 people talking. That's good for some topics, but sometimes you want to ask a question to someone more experienced and you don't want to involve everyone else, or vice versa. You only want to speak to nurses in Australia. So we will start creating secret chats where it's invite only, and you'll be placed into various chats where you feel like you develop a different experience to the app.
And I guess maybe let's just talk about one of the other major features, which is the clinical library. So this sits within our HCP premium membership only. But essentially what we've done is collected a whole lot of open access studies from around the world, whether it be on toxins, fillers, anatomy, biostimulators. We'll probably eventually go down into skincare and all this kind of stuff, or devices at some point in the future. But this is a central clinical library that, as I said, is broken down into categories that you can dip in and out of. You can search, if you know the name of the publication, you can search for it. You can see the whole PDF of that study or that article. And then what we've done is we've applied AI to this as well. So not only do you get to see the full study, you can also see a summarized critical analysis, which will give you a summary and strengths and weaknesses of the paper, how to read it. So it starts to help you look at things more quickly. If you're not super experienced in reading clinical papers, it starts to make it a little bit easier for you and just start to translate it into basic English and save you some of the headaches. But mate, do you want to expand on that at all?
No, you said it well, and I zone out when I read some of these papers. I'm like, what are they talking about? I don't understand the graphs or the statistics or whatever. So our AI that we've applied to each PDF breaks it down into more layman's terms, makes it more user-friendly, but also importantly, a lot of these studies might not be applicable to every practice or every healthcare practitioner. So the critical analysis turns it into more usable data and information to see whether you can apply that study to your own practice and experience.
Yeah. Something else to mention as well is that if you have a study, if you've done your own study or you want to suggest one to us that you think needs to be up there, you can submit that. So there's a process within the clinical library to submitting your own study or letting us know about one that should be there as well. So again, we want to make this very much a community-driven initiative. Yeah,
as long as that study is peer-reviewed, obviously published already, and open access, we'll happily share that. So if you're an author, you're sort of in the world of academia and you've got a lot to share, just let us know. We'll happily share your papers.
Yeah. I guess that kind of brings us to the end of all the features that we want to talk about. I guess we should tell people how much the premium membership costs.
Yeah, so our business tier, just to recap, is for our non-clinicians, business owners, etc. You get your business chats, business education. That's $300 Australian dollars a year, or about $215 US dollars if you want to work it out. Less than $1 a day, however you want to think about it. So we think that's great value. Obviously, most business people, actually particularly business people, won't have mentors or people to turn to for advice and sharing stuff. So hopefully we find it a great resource. Then for our HCP or healthcare professional plus business tier, you get both. That is $400 Australian dollars a year, or around $280 US dollars a year. So again, pretty affordable.
Yeah, and also tax deductible.
Tax deductible. Make sure you tell your accountants about that expense. But jokes aside, we think it's going to be very practical help for you guys. Yeah.
So I guess that's what we wanted to share with you guys. There's a lot of content there, so maybe go back and have another listen if you want to revisit anything that we spoke about.
Don't do that. Just download the app and start playing.
Yeah, let's just do that. Yeah.
And to recap, obviously we have our competition. So check out our post tonight on Instagram. All the information will be there, but it'll be super simple. You'll be asked to tag some friends and obviously download the app. We'll announce the exact date and time of the winner.
Yep.
It'll be there, so you can probably watch us on a live to do our live draw. The main prize winner will be coming to Australia. We'll be seeing me and David. I don't know if that's a prize or a punishment, but either way, that's what's on offer. You'll be going to the A26 conference, doing business mentoring with David, hanging out with me, shadowing, as well as doing a podcast.
You get to pat a koala.
Yeah. If you want to extend your trip, that is true. So we look forward to seeing you guys in our community. We have been pumped about this. I will be honest, it's been exhausting, exhilarating, everything, but we're finally here. So please support us, check it out, and we'll see you in the chats.
See you soon, guys. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed that episode, guys. To stay up to date with our latest news and episodes, follow us on Instagram, and we're now on TikTok.
You can also now watch our full video episodes on YouTube and Spotify. So if you like what we do, please give us a like and subscribe.
All of our social links and contact information are in the show notes below, and we'll see you in the next episode.